Greetings all! Today, we will be examining the uncommon fighting-type Pokémon Mienfoo and its relatively rare evolution Mienshao, collectively known as the Martial Arts Pokémon. Despite being among the more unconventional of fighting-type Pokémon, the members of the Mienfoo family are fascinating mustelids that can more than make use of their graceful movements to put opponents in their place in a fight. Mienfoo are easily recognized by their red and yellow fur, with the red sections being most prominent near their legs, their arms, the tip of their tail, and a small band that wraps around the middle of their torso, while the yellow fur covers their lower and upper torsos, the longer part of their tail, their hands, and their head. They have 3 digits on each of their hands and feet with small but sharp claws, and their distinct tail has 2 tips to it that flow readily with every motion of their tail. They have round ears, 2 whisker-like extensions on their cheeks, and a pair of gray markings on their forehead that complement their piercing stare and red eyes, only offset by their small, cute-looking pointed nose. Their evolved form, Mienshao, have a very similar fur pattern to their bodies, but the once red-colored fur has turned purple, and the yellow a gray color, with their whiskers growing out noticeably in 2 pointed structures tipped with beige-colored fur. The pair of gray markings that once adorned their heads have merged into a single purple marking, accompanied by a smaller beige one just above their nose, and their once slanted eyebrows have grown thick with purple hair, accentuating their red eyes greatly. Most prominently of all, though, is that they have lost their claws, and have developed a pair of long, flowing clumps of fur that are tipped with a twin pair of purple extensions on each clump, which serves as their primary weapon in battle and a dangerous hazard worth avoiding at all costs. Although they might have the appearance of normal, albeit bipedal mammals to the untrained eye, the members of the Mienfoo family are remarkable creatures because they have the ability to readily learn and master every single known form of the martial arts instinctually from birth, no matter how complex it might be or how much dedication and time it might ordinarily need to master. This is in due part to their extremely flexible bodies, as their joints all show signs of hypermobility and can flex in ways that no normal joint could ever hope to, enabling them to move their bodies in seemingly unnatural ways to attack. Combined with their generally lithe forms, this allows them to use agility as their primary force of reckoning, attacking with rapid, elegant, and flowing combos in the blink of an eye and with little room to dodge in many cases, turning whatever stands in their way into a virtual punching bag. Concentrating their mind and willpower can allow them to increase the accuracy of their strikes even further, and by manipulating their flexible bodies, they can naturally utilize attacks like U-turn and bounce that very few other fighting-type Pokémon can ever come close to naturally learning. Controlled meditation and synergy with the aura energy in their bodies and around them further enables them to utilize attacks like Drain Punch and Aura Sphere that are highly uncommon among Pokémon in general, let alone fighting types, giving them an edge over others within their same type assignment, even if the latter move is less useful to them from a pure damage perspective, as their physical offenses are much stronger than their special ones. As a consequence of their constant meditation and practicing of their moves, these creatures are able to possess inner focus as a base ability, while a healing factor that helps to keep their hypermobile joints stable and their ligaments untorn can also grant them Regenerator as a base ability. In addition, in the case where some rare specimens are unable to keep calm in battle when delivering potentially self-damaging strikes in contrast to their normal combat behavior, these creatures can possess Reckless as a hidden ability. As far as their stats go, in the case of Mienshao, these creatures are built primarily for offense and offense alone, with fairly weak bodies and little in the way of health to buffer against attacks. As such, while their base HP, defense, and special defense stats are below average for a fully evolved fighting-type Pokémon, their base attack, special attack, and speed stats are above average, and they can more than put these stats to use to deliver devastating damage to opponents in battle, relying on moves like U-turn and bounce to potentially get them out of a sticky situation if needed. While they might be quite young, Mienfoo are not to be trifled with, as their dedication to training on a constant basis more often than not pays off in battle when put to the test. In the wild, These creatures will live together in small packs, secluded among mountainsides, and will train with each other every morning, moving through a series of poses with kicks and chops in order to maintain the hypermobility in their joints and keep them in constant action so they do not get torn from sudden unprecedented movement, all the while working together to make sure that every single member is performing adequately and in league with the rest of the pack. Interestingly enough, with these creatures, the kicking and chopping movements that are practiced by packs are done so in such seclusion that they are not even observed among other packs, and as a result, the kicking and chopping motions practiced and mastered by each pack is different from the rest. This helps them as a species to increase the likelihood of survival, creating variety that can throw predators and opponents alike off guard and keep them on their toes at all times. While these creatures are able to use their agility to attack with fighting-type attacks in time, they do not actually gain access to their first fighting-type attack for a while after birth. So, for added offense, they use their small but sharp claws to cut the flesh of their opponents in order to give their basic attacks an extra kick, though not enough to classify moves like their pound attack as a scratch attack. They end up losing their claws altogether when they evolve anyways, so it is not a big concern. It is thought that this is the result of selective breeding for smaller and eventually non-existent claws for their use in fighting tournaments, since sharp implements are usually frowned upon. Although they might not be able to deliver a great deal of damage with every blow, Mienfoo are proud of the speed with which they can deliver their strikes, more than making up for their lack of power with the pure quantity of strikes they can deliver in a short period of time, and in turn making them decent partners for trainers, even if it does take an exceptionally long period of time for them to actually evolve. When Mienfoo evolve into Mienshao, they completely lose their claws, but this is of little concern to them as they develop far more effective tools of destruction as they grow into adulthood. Instead of relying on claws, these creatures have developed a pair of long clumps of fur attached to their forearms that they use in concert with their normal attacks as long whips, with the hairs at the end being fine enough to actually generate a sonic boom when moved with enough force, just like a real whip. Using these clumps of fur, these beasts can more than double the length of their normal reach with their attacks, and deliver fast-paced and elegant combos that, once started, can almost never be interrupted by anything as they can scarcely be seen to begin with. This is helped by the fact that their fur is incredibly light but strong, and can withstand direct hits from just about any type of attack over a considerable portion of the battlefield, in turn explaining why they get access to the wide guard technique in place of the quick guard technique learned by Mienfoo. The worst attack in an onslaught is usually saved for last though, as for every strike that is delivered upon a foe, a small amount of energy is stored up in the bodies of these creatures. Once they have weakened their opposition sufficiently, Mienshao will unleash this pent-up energy in the form of a final, bone-breaking strike to finish off their opponent swiftly and mercifully. When it comes to guarding against these creatures, predicting their moves can be exceptionally difficult as a result of their agility, but it can at least be said that extreme caution should be taken if they ever suddenly let out a loud, wailing cry, as it is a battle cry signifying that they are about to begin a devastating combo of chopping and kicking attacks that is sure to ravage anything that takes the full brunt of the assault. The only disadvantage that these creatures truly have is that their fur is quite flammable, and if the clumps on their forearms are damaged by fire, it can take months for them to grow back fully. Even so, getting near them with any type of assault is an unwise idea, as it only takes a single connecting blow to open the doorway for a flurry of blows to follow that very few Pokemon can withstand and come away from relatively unscathed. Despite their otherwise adorable looks and seemingly calm appearances, the members of the Mienfoo family are fierce warriors that can deal devastating damage to any opponent that dares to underestimate them. It may take a long time for them to reach their fully evolved state from their time of birth, but the ultimate result is worth the wait, as only Pokemon with the strongest of defenses will be able to outlast the fierce combos of these mammalian martial arts experts. If you're looking for a training partner in the martial arts with a specialization in speed over brute strength, then picking up one of these critters might not be a bad idea. Just make sure that you don't try to go toe-to-toe with them yourself, as even the best human martial art experts won't stand a chance once a single blow from these creatures connects, since they will be little capable of keeping the several dozen or more to follow from hitting their target as well. Thank you all for watching this video. It is always an honor to be able to speak with you all on the subject of Pokemon in a way that brings me great joy and happiness in my work. If you would like to keep tabs on past and future work, click that subscribe button, check out my work on DeviantArt, and don't be shy about following me on Twitter, where you can find pertinent announcements on upcoming work before it is officially posted. Links to both can be found in the video description. If you would like to support my work and help Miguel and I continue to produce more content for you and improve upon our presentation, please visit us at my Patreon page, which you can also find a link to in the video description.
Yeah, no.
With that, I thank you for watching and I wish you well.